you did essentially 10x what the agency was able to do yourself in-house. Why did you ultimately decide to kind of take control and bring things in-house?
So when we started, we were cutting ties with an agency. For me, the driving factor was just cost. This is so outside, it was so outside of my wheelhouse that I I didn't even want to try to tackle this beast. I'm very happy I did because looking back, I realized that I would not have been successful ever if I didn't learn all of this. Specifically, things that I've learned are like how to develop your customer avatar and market directly to them, learning how to do things like customer interviews, surveys, reviews, and pulling like important insights from those. Learned how to best utilize AI to communicate effectively with that target market and with that specific avatar. I learned kind of what the paid ad content creation and iteration process should look like and how to actually run ads profitably versus just bringing in revenue. And kind of under that, like the importance of testing, data analysis, really understanding your numbers and KPIs to measure success and make informed decisions in that account. These are all things that I would have just like completely trusted an agency or contractor to do. And I think that's probably one of the big reasons why I didn't see as much success working with the agency. I don't think they didn't understand my numbers, so they didn't neither of us really realized like what we were even striving for.
Mm,
Um, yeah, obviously like tactically how to manage paid ads within the Meta platform, how to use the interface, which was very daunting at first. And then I would also say just a big general lesson is that every e-commerce business is actually a content creation business, no matter what industry you're in. And that continuously fresh content is very critical for success.
mm. Yeah, that was very well said. It's funny to me being on this end, looking at we get a couple hundred brands coming through the pipeline every month that we're talking to and vetting and doing the back and forth with. And there are some sizable businesses that the founder still doesn't have a grasp on these things to a degree in which is necessary for them to be able to isolate what the current constraint is to open up the next level of the business, or if they're having a profitability issue, knowing who to point the finger at or what to point the finger at. And I find that so interesting that there are lucky few people who have been able to survive without actually knowing these things.
Yeah,
And it's not like there's that much stuff, but it can be a life or death in terms of the business surviving or not. Like actually understanding what is profitable, not profitable, what levers can you pull on to influence that? Is it an ad issue? Is it a gross margin issue? Is it a volume of content thing? Is it a AOV thing? There's those handful of variables that you can pull on to influence the growth and the profitability and being able to look high level at the numbers and all of the variables and go, okay, I can see where the constraint is. You're either forced to learn that because, there's a fire and you have to put it out, or you can do it in this earlier stage before you try to build out the team and ramp things up. What would you say resources wise in school in the process? Like, what have you found the most useful?
definitely the funnel calculator. I love that thing. It just really, it helps me stay on track just to make sure that I always know my numbers and that I'm able to make informed decisions based off of real data. So A, it keeps me on track. B, it really helped me understand what my KPIs were and understand my business as a whole a lot better. From that, I've been able to use a lot of that data and a lot of the concepts there in like my accounting software and P&Ls, and it's just made it a lot more accurate And I just feel that I have a much better grasp on all of my numbers, which has been so helpful. The ad iteration map is new for me, but that is helpful. Yeah, having the playbook of exactly what to do based on specific criteria is great.
Hmm.
I know most of that, but you forget, or it's like tough to remember each of those granular steps. So I think that is going to be really helpful.
How long do you think it took you to feel l- comfortable? Like you just mentioned, like you understand those things. When in terms of the ads, like managing the ads, that always is a daunting thing for people who haven't, you open up the dashboard and you're like, okay, there's a lot of buttons here. Where is stuff? How long do you think it took you to feel comfortable in looking at the data, the dashboard, and just understanding what it means?
I would say probably around like the 3 month mark. You start in a learning phase and you don't have the full picture of everything until you get to the later like scaling phase. I think when I was still stuck in like just the creative testing, I didn't feel like I had the full big picture, like
Hmm.
understanding of what the strategy was and how everything worked together. But once I got into scaling the ads, I felt more comfortable and I had
Hmm.
a more full picture.
In the initial test, you were targeting a couple of different avatars. Can you just quickly run us through any initial learnings?
I initially had about three different avatar target markets in mind. One was pregnant women. The second is people with like chronic gut health issues who are usually otherwise very healthy. And the third is just an older demographic. So I went all in initially on the pregnancy demo just because I thought A, captive audience, and B, that they would be easier to reach. That ended up being a tougher sell. We weren't seeing the numbers, so we looked more towards the older demo, and that just performed so much better. So we ran with that and adjusted the avatar to be more in like the 65 plus range, which is where we were seeing most of our sales.
Any final advice for other founders who are in a similar stage, trying to bring a product to market? Maybe they recently launched, maybe they're still trying to find a sustainable traffic source.
Yes, I would say, and Eric, this is something that you were very adamant about along the way. And I just found it to be very true. And great advice is to just stay laser focused on whatever marketing channel you initially decide to pursue, like until whether that's Meta or TikTok or whatever else, but stay laser focused on that one channel until it's on autopilot with the successful scaling campaign or new hires you bring on, because it's very easy to get distracted, and each of these marketing channels just takes a ton of time and dedication to understand deeply to the point where you can actually market profitably. So yeah, just staying focused until you really have a grasp on each marketing channel.
Nice. So true. Yeah, limited time and resources. And again, it goes back to that whole thing of if you do want to delegate the higher level things efficiently, you have to understand them yourself. The best way to do that is to just do it for a hot sec. And when it comes to selling something online, especially if you're bootstrapped, having the laser focus on just solving the primary constraint and then solving the next and solving the next. That is, yeah, that's the name of the game for this phase of the business. And again, when you expand out, when you have more of a team in place, you're able to still have a pulse high level on what is the constraint, where should we laser focus, but now you have more leverage, not from just your own time and energy, but now there's other people's time and energy that you're also directing like a laser. So
Mhm.
yeah, I love that. what is the next phase for you look like? Like, why are you so excited about growing Heartspan?
Yeah, the next phase, once we crack our revenue goals for kelp, next phase is definitely expanding the product line. So the goal is to be able to provide as many products and programs as possible, along with like different types of education for people to be able to help them extend their health span or healthy years of life. So yeah, looking forward to being able to expand the product line and just touch more people and begin to focus more on the educational aspect and mission of the company.